Welcome back to Casual Buys Rugby. Today we got Sean and we're doing our combined 15 that we will play. Not combined 15, but 15 that we will play against Argentina next week Saturday. It's been a dull week, so we're just pumping up one of these videos. Let me know in the comments if you want to have us do like a Kiwi one as well, or Wallabies one, just like for outside perspective. So yeah, Sean, welcome. What did you think about our game against the All Blacks?
Pretty atrocious performance in the first 20 minutes. By the rate we were conceding points, I would have thought that we would end up 18-0 because we were conceding the amount of points exactly the same as the minutes we were playing. So we were 20-0 behind, I think 20 minutes in, but the Boks showed some fight back at the end, which was nice. A little bit of hope, but then they just fucking plucked the hope out of underneath us. And yeah, I was left not very happy, but I guess there are some positives to take away from the game. When the bomb squad came on, or Malcolm Marx came on, he did make a big impact. Not him alone, but all the players that came on. So I guess that's one positive to take away. And I do think we can take New Zealand once we play against them in the World Cup and at Twickenham. So yeah, I guess there's a lot of positives to take away, but I wasn't too happy. How do you feel about the game?
Well, I have to agree with you. I think there's much more positives to take away from the game rather than the negatives. I think we went into this game a bit cold, a bit naive at some points. You can't get off to a slow start in Auckland where the record is horrific. I think they haven't lost a game.
Yeah, they haven't lost a game in 56 games, not one loss, 2 draws.
I mean, that's absolutely crazy. Anyway, moving on. We're going to go into the 15. This is an open discussion, so let us know what you think about it, what changes you will make. Let's get into it.
Now, just to reiterate, this is our opinion on who we feel should play, not a predicted lineup. So, yeah, we would like to hear if there are any players that you disagree on and who you would play in that position instead. So, please feel free to let us know in the comments.
Let's get into it. So, starting off with the front row, I've just got the 6 from last week.
Okay.
But I've switched them. So I've got Malcolm starting in the hooker, the best hooker in the world. Right? Almost said an inappropriate joke. You know that one from the Tiki Taki.
Yeah.
But in the 1 I've got Ox if he's back from his chest injury.
Okay.
Otherwise I'll start Thomas the Toy. And then in the 3 I've got Trevor if he's back. Otherwise I'll just start Vincent Koch. And then my 3 on the bench is
Okay.
I actually made a change on the bench. I've got Steven Kitzel, Frans Malherbe, and then Dweba, because I feel he'll be more of an impact player than Bongi coming from the bench. That's just my opinion though.
Okay, my front 3, very similar to last week, actually almost exactly similar. I've got Kitzel and Malherbe as props. I think it's a winning formula, and I think we should maybe try and keep practicing it, okay, especially ahead of the World Cup. So those are my 2 props, and then I would like to see Malcolm Marx have a start rather than coming off the bench for the 1000th time. I feel like he deserves a start, and just for us to be able to see whether he can really keep up the pace and the impact that he has when he comes off the bench, if he can keep that up for at least 60 minutes maybe. So I would like to see him get some game time from the start. Maybe that could also help us build a lead earlier on, or build dominance earlier on, which could help us, maybe lead to not conceding as many points, I don't know. But especially early on in the game, so that's my front 3 for this weekend.
Yeah. I would have chosen the same if I was just picking our strongest front 3. I just went with the other 2. Think they deserve a start because France and Steven has already started both games. So just give the other guys a run out, give these guys a bit of a break before the warm up games and stuff.
So that's fair enough.
Moving on to the locks.
I'll go first.
Yeah,
okay,
I've got a bit different. So.
Okay, so I know Etzebeth had a very quiet game last week. We all know the circumstances surrounding the match, but I would like to see him get another start. And I want to see him not redeem himself, but to get back to the old Etzebeth that we know can just maul people up and run them over, and even run like a wing sometimes. So I would have Etzebeth and Argies Snyman as the 2 locks. I was thinking about going a bit more controversial, but I'll get to that once we go to the loose forwards. But I think that's a very good lock pairing, and I think that could potentially be a World Cup winning lock pairing for us. So yeah.
Very interesting. I actually went a bit different. So I know Evan had a quiet game, but he still did a job and stuff. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he's been sent home to have to grieve the loss. I think for that reason alone, I've decided to start Erge. I was very impressed with him throughout the 2 games when he came from the bench. I gave him the number 4 jersey, and at the 5, I went for Lode Jager, but for the same reason that you went for Eben in the 4, just to get some more meters under their feet, because he had a very, very quiet game. One of his worst games, probably in the green and gold. So I want to get him back into form, get him some game time. So I decided to go with Erge in the 4, and then
I could back that as well. To be fair, I didn't really think about the fact that Evan's potentially being sent home, or maybe given some time off, to grieve and stuff. So when considering that as a factor, then I would probably go the same as you. I would probably go Erge and Lood in the lock. So I can't fault that choice.
Moving on to the utility backs, I'll go. In the 6, I went for a man that really impressed me. I said it in the match preview for our first game that I've got very mixed opinions about this guy. And I went for Marco van Staden in the 6 jersey. I think it was crucial for us in the breakdown against the Wallabies. He had a brilliant game, whether that was in meters he gained, getting over the advantage line, or disrupting their breakdown, or getting that ball back to us. I think it was brilliant there. In the 7, I've got Pieter Stef de Tooy, who I think has been our standout player so far in these 2 games. He really changed the momentum of the game for us last week against the Kiwis. I think it was absolutely brilliant. And then in the number 8 jersey, I've gone a bit quite controversial. I think Jasper Wiese had his worst game ever
100% agree.
Last week, and that's why I decided to give him a chance again. I want meters on this guy's our starting 8. Yeah. He needs confidence. Get him back into that jersey. Play him from the start. Say, listen, Jasper, ons het confidence. That's what I'm saying. He's missing a tooth already. Miss another one. Just play your heart out. That's the back three I went with. So it's Mark van Staden, Pieter Stef de Tooy, Jasper Wiese. That's my utility.
Might as well throw Jasper Wiese into How to Train Your Dragon because he's toothless. Anyway, I actually went almost exactly the same. I went Van Staden at 6, Pieter Stef de Tooy at 7, and I actually went for Kwagga to play 8th man. I know he doesn't usually play that position, but I wanted him as part of the Lucy trio. So yeah, I went exactly the same. Marco van Staden had a great game against Australia. I really feel he played super well. He was extremely physical, ran well with the ball. Pieter Stef de Tooy, what more can you say? He's just a beast. And then Kwagga also super physical, also occasionally pretty good at the breakdown as well. And the guy just never stops running, So I think he could potentially do well. I do agree. Jasper Wiese is probably our starting 8th man, but I wouldn't mind giving Kwagga a chance at 8th man to see whether it could potentially be something for him to start at 8th man instead of Jasper Wiese in the future. Maybe as we build up to the World Cup, I don't know, but that's just my opinion. And I feel like that would make a very good loose forward trio.
Yeah, I mean, we do have good depth when you look at our number 8s. I mean, you've got Jasper Wiese, Dwayne Vermeulen, and of course Evan Roos as well, coming through the ranks. But I've got Kwagga on my bench, because I feel him and Franco Mostert both are brilliant impact players when you get them off from the bench. And that's the same reason if I start Marks, I don't play Bongi from the bench. I don't think Bongi brings that impact from the bench. So I'd rather play a Dweba, someone to run at those tired bodies. And I don't think Bongi brings that. So let's go straight into
throw skew line-up balls.
Yeah. Dweba's like a perfect flank in my opinion. It's throwing in balls in the line out. I mean, crazy. So let's just go straight to the reserves for the forwards as well before we move into the backline. Have you gone with the 6-2 split, 5-3?
Okay. To be fair, I didn't really give that much thought. I just focused on the starting 15.
It's fine. It's all good. Off the
Man's
cuff.
unprepared. So for the bench, I would obviously go, because I have Kitshoff and Malherbe starting, so I'd have Vincent Koch and Ox in chair if he's ready, like you said. Remember, just keep in mind, I'm not the biggest rugby buff fan, so I'm just going based off what I know and what I understand. I would also have Dweba on the bench, because I know Dweba doesn't play bad. He's also very physical and runs well with the ball. potentially not too bad at the breakdowns. It's just his lineouts that need some working on. I think it's been improving a bit as time goes on. Since I saw him at the start of his debut, and now I think it's gotten a bit better.
I just like that Dweba, we're gonna fuck them up mentality, and I want that coming from the bench. That's
No,
what
fair
I.
enough. And he's a big guy, so it brings on a lot of physicality, which is good. And then I would have Lode Jager on my bench, obviously because I'm not playing him, I'm not starting him. And I would have Franco Mostert on my bench as well. So that's probably it for the forwards.
What's that, 5?
That's 5. Yeah.
So you have 3 backline players on the bench.
Yes, I have 3 backline players on the bench. So I would have Faf. Okay, well we're still going to the.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Don't
sorry.
worry about the back.
I spoiled it almost.
Okay, so I've gone with the 6-2 split. So as I mentioned, I've just switched the front 3 and the back and the reserve 3s or forward backs. Then I'll have John Klein on the bench. I think he was brilliant in our first game.
Yeah, he was
Just
pretty good.
to get us jumping there, because I don't have Evan at all. I left him out to go and relax. So that's 4. I've got Franco Mostert there that can come on.
To come on this flank
or lock,
which is nice. Yeah.
which is great. And then my final one on the bench, my 6, Kwagga Smith.
Okay.
Just
I can back that.
just to bring that X factor. I think he's an absolutely brilliant impact player. Same with Franco Mostert. I think last week just showcased that Franco Mostert and Kwagga might not be the best when they come to starting and going into that physical battle up front, but they are absolutely brilliant. But probably the best reserves that you can have in the world. So that's just my opinion. Moving on to the back line.
The fun
So
stuff.
who's your halfback combination?
Okay, so my halfback combination would have to be for this weekend's game. Like how would I want to see it, is Grant Williams starting at 9, and I have to give the 10 jersey back to Lebok. I feel like he needs to build as much confidence as possible in the 10, even if it is against the weaker sides. Because he played Australia, he played pretty decently, not too bad. And I feel like this is a golden opportunity playing against Argentina. Not the strongest side, we don't want to underestimate them, but they aren't, let's be honest, they're not the strongest side. They are a tough game always, but I feel like Liverpool can really take this opportunity at 10 to really sort of try and cement a spot there. If he's going to do that, I don't know, because we still have the likes of Pollard to come back. But I feel like Grant Williams and Mani Liverpool should be a good combination for this weekend's game. What do you think?
I've gotten exactly the same.
Nice.
I think Grant Williams has been brilliant ever since he's come off the bench. I would love to see him get a start. I think Argentina and the way they play, it's the perfect style for him to get into it. And then I've got Mani at 10. I think last week just solidified he has to be the 10. I don't want to be nervous every time we have to kick a goal and stuff. So
I do agree.
I think Mani just gives you that front foot ball, and you really need to back the player, get him some confidence. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes. He ran into Finley Christie and got held up. I mean, whatever. Just go on, back him, give him that 10 jersey, show some confidence in him. And that's what Dobbers did for him in the Stormers, because everyone thought we bought a flop from the Bulls when he came there, and now he's the best 10 in our country. So, moving on, who you got as centre pairing?
Okay, centre pairing, I have Andre Esterhuizen at inside centre. And I've gone for either or here, so I've gone for or Jesse Kriel at 13 or Lucanio Am. I might lean a bit more towards Jesse to give him some game time, because I know he hasn't played against Australia or played against New Zealand as well. And I don't feel he's too bad. I feel sometimes he can have a great game, sometimes he can have like a super shocker. But I do think when he's playing well and he's playing at the potential that he has, he can play decently, and his defence is very good as well. Nothing against Lucanio Am, best 13 in the world, in my opinion. But based off what's currently happening in the current form, I would like to see Jesse maybe get a chance at 13. Same with Andre Esterhuizen. Amazing game against Australia in the first one. I really rated him highly in that game, and I feel like he deserves some more chances to prove himself that he can make a claim for that number 12 jersey in the box squad. So that's basically where I'm at.
Yeah, I've got Andre Esterhuizen as well. I think he was absolutely brilliant in that first game. I think he just brings a bit more diversity to the game, or bit of a different playing style than Damien Dialinde does. But he can still bash the ball forward. He has got that kick. He can play a flary game. He can step a player. He doesn't knock the ball from a goal line drop out. I do
important to note.
I do love Damien Dialinde though, but and it might be hypocritical because I gave Jasper Wiese the start because he needs more meters. Damien Dialinde, you could see he needs more meters under his feet, but I mean, Andre Esterhuizen just blew me away in that first game. And of course I've got Bukanya up. I think he's crucial to us in defence and attack. He's like the captain of the back line, so I'm not making any changes there. Moving on to the back three, I'll start. I've got, on the left, I've got Kurtley Arendse. I think he cemented his jersey, he cemented it last week without even playing. I think Pimpy had a horrific game. I think that was nightmare on Elm Street for him. And then on the right, I've got, obviously, Cheslin Colby. I mean, that guy was a standout for us last week. That guy was crazy. And then at fullback, I'm going a bit different. I'm going Damian Willemse. Purely for the fact that he's better defensively. He won't have intercourse with the ground when Shannon Frizzell runs down on him like Willie did. I do love Willie, but I think Willie is like the perfect super sub to bring on. So that's just a spoiler. Willie is one of my backline reserves. I think when Willie has bit less pressure on him, the guys aren't attacking him, he's brilliant then. He just controls the game, he knows how to flow into that back line, and his attacking rugby is great. So I've got Willemse in his favourite position, fullback. There you go.
Yeah, mine is exactly the same. I have Kurtley Arendse on the left, Cheslin Colby on the right, and then Damian Willemse as fullback as well. So I have exactly the same.
What's your reserve?
So I would have Willie, Faf de Klerk, and who's the last one? Who do you think should be the last fullback, the last backline player to have on my bench? I would like to hear from you guys. So I have Faf de Klerk and Willie. Willie can slot in on wing and fullback, so maybe we need someone for the fly half centre position. So what do you guys think? Yeah, maybe. I'll leave it up for interpretation. But anyway, I do back Willie. To be honest, I am probably his harshest critic, or one of his harshest critics. But to be honest, I know he can play well and he does organise the game well from the fullback position. But his defence is just not reliable. It's something that it can't be overlooked, unfortunately. He does kick well. He has been kicking pretty well.
Yeah. I've been impressed with Willie's attacking game. It's just purely I want him to run at the tight bodies. I actually rate Willie, not as much as one of our other friends, Christoph, who's like a fanboy of the guy. But I mean, I do like Willie, especially in his attacking game, and I think he reads the game brilliantly, especially when it came to the end. Look how bad he was at the start of the game last week, along with all the other players. But I mean, he was one of the standouts at the end when the guy's body weren't operating at 100%.
That's the thing that Willemse can do exactly the same. If you're breaking down the skill set that Willie has, Willemse has the exact same skill set. Also is good under the high ball, can kick the ball well, arguably better in attack, arguably better in defence. So yeah, I would like to see Willemse get a start there. I feel like he can really do well in the 15 jersey.
And you got Faf on the bench?
Yes, I got Faf on the bench.
I have to that's my second backline replacement. I've got Kobus Reinach. I just feel Faf had a decent game last week. I wouldn't be too harsh of a critic, but I mean, I've said it for a long time. If it comes to a World Cup, I've got Reinach starting all day. I think he's the best 9 that we have, and I think Grant Williams has the best impact from the bench if you think about our 9s, and he's the one for the future. I know Jaden Hendricks, actually I read yesterday, he's come back to the squad now, but I wouldn't start him.
No, I wouldn't either.
He's not in my squad. He hasn't impressed me too much. So I'm going with Grant Williams to start, just to get him his first start, and then Kobus Reinach, because I think he'll make a crucial impact from the bench.
For me, the top 3 scrummers are obviously Grant Williams, Kobus Reinach and Faf de Klerk. I do love Kobus Reinach. He played a brilliant game against Australia. I also do not like Faf too much, but I can't really blame it on him. It's more the game plan and the system that we play which makes me not like the way he's playing. But again, it's orders from above and he has to execute a certain game plan. But when we play a bit more running rugby and not much of a kicking game, then I would like to see Kobus Reinach or Grant Williams in the 9 position. But I do feel like Faf does bring a little bit of oomph to the squad when he plays, because he's like a little Jack Russell everywhere all the time, making big tackles, brilliant on defense. He's always there. And when he has a game where our game plan isn't necessarily to kick as much, he doesn't play bad. But I do like Kobus Reinach as well, and I would probably, depending on how the games going forward look and how we play that game against New Zealand at Twickenham, I
wouldn't look too deep into that game. I'm literally going to that game just like throw out Elton Yankee, throw him out on 10, just don't get any injuries, I don't care.
We can look at it like that, I think, but we can also look at it as a way of sort of figuring out, okay, that is our last chance to figure out what's going to work the best for us in terms of how the style we're going to play in the World Cup. I know playing different teams, you're playing different styles, different strategies, but basically the point I'm trying to make is that depending on how we choose to play going forward, I would maybe, I'm on the fence whether I want Kobus Reinach to start or Faf, but I do rate Kobus Reinach more in general, and I do think he needs to get more game time, more than Faf at least, especially if we're not planning on kicking all the time.
I totally agree. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you, Sean. It was very informative. He actually played rugby. I did not play rugby. You could probably tell that with all my opinions every now and again. But let me know if you guys enjoyed that video. It's a bit of a longer video, so leave it in the comments. As I said, it's an open discussion, so you guys can say in the comments what you would have changed. Throw in your full 15. I don't care. Put some effort into your comments. Anyway, see you next time. Thank you. Bye.